for week 1. How do you feel about drawing Mike Vrabel week 1, Joe?
Bring it. What's Mike Vrabel? What? Acting like that. Last time I checked, he got fired as a head coach before too. It's not like I'm scared of Mike Vrabel. No, ain't nobody scared of Mike Vrabel. Ain't nobody scared of Drake May. Hey, look at the wide receiver for it. Their number 1 wide receivers out there partying and everything. It's gonna be an easy cakewalk for the Raiders week 1. Finally, the Raiders get a good week 1 opponent that they can get that win, get ready for a division game in week 2.
It is in New England, and Diggs was at OTA still, Joe. He had to make sure that was known on Twitter. Like, I still made it to practice even though I was partying on the boat. You guys realize that? Is that not impressive?
Not impressive to me.
I just thought that was funny. That was Diggs' defense. Like, he posted highlights from OTAs. Like, I still was there. I don't see what everyone's complaining about.
So, I think it's all impressive, right? Like, that you can go and party and do whatever you want and still be a top flight player in the NFL. The thing that, like, I don't think got discussed enough was the fact that he's probably going to miss at least whatever the pup list is, the first 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever that rule is. It's probably not going to be out there for the beginning of the season anyways. Like,
so he's not really in full go mode yet anyways.
Yeah. So why can't he have fun with his free time?
Right? He's dating Cardi B. If you're dating Cardi B, shouldn't you be on a yacht partying to start your summer?
I don't know. I didn't see the
he's in love with the stripper.
Exactly. But overall, Joe, you're pumped about this Raiders schedule. You like the schedule.
No, a lot of Raider fans no, this is where I disagree with a lot of Raider fans, and some of them are finally starting to come around with it. Because when I first saw the schedule, I was like, okay, the teams that line up are good. Like the beginning first 6 or 7 games are pretty good schedule for the Raiders to come back and compete with. I mean, it's a last place schedule, so you're going to have some teams on there that's not that good. But when you look at the way that they scheduled it, the Raiders got screwed over. Like it's not mileages, but you're going West Coast or East Coast, back to the West Coast, back to the East Coast, and we already know. You guys see it with the Chargers all the time too. West Coast teams traveling to East Coast playing at 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't like it. I hate it. I don't like it. And the Raiders have to do that early in the season. And even though they're winnable games, the schedule and the Raiders, I forget what it is. There's something about the Raiders have the worst rest time in the NFL, like a negative 14 or 15 days or something like that on everybody else. So they're not getting the rest. Like I think they play the Chargers Monday night week 2, right? Turn around and have to go to the East Coast right there on Sunday, which is just it's just tough. It's brutal. The travel schedules is going to be the bad one.
It's actually kind of crazy about that week 2 game. A story came out on Rich Eisen's show, I believe. What's the guy's name? Mike North or Mike South, Mike West, one of those directions. He told the story of how they had a little bit of a scheduling conflict with that game, Joe. I don't know if you saw the clip yet, but he was basically saying that the NFL had already scheduled the Chargers Chiefs in Brazil. So that was already locked in. Now, usually you'd play a home game following. So the Chiefs be in KC, the Chargers would be at home in LA after an international game. But SoFi was booked up that weekend completely by Chris Brown. And then they were thinking, okay, well, then we'll just have the Raiders and Chargers play on that Sunday. But the Sunday Allegiant Stadium is booked up also. And so they were like, maybe the Chargers are going to have to travel to the East Coast after an international game unless the Raiders move their home opener to Monday Night Football versus the Chargers, which I don't know. I wouldn't give my division opponent an easy pass. I mean, that's the same flight from Brazil to LA as it is. We're not talking about any difference now from going home, basically.
Yeah, but Monday night home opener, Las Vegas, like you can't, you got to do
Las
that.
Vegas is really rowdy and full of people on Mondays.
No, but you're going to make the money. You're going to get the destination. You're going to do all that. It's better for the NFL publicity wise. They're gonna do it. Like,
yeah,
why not?
If I was the Raiders, I would have said, yeah, sure, we'll do it on Thursday. We'll play on Thursday.
Ticket price is going to be outrageous, but that goes to talking about how I talked about the Raiders schedule. Like the Chargers play on Thursday night, even though they're coming back from Brazil, they're going to have the extra 3 or 4 days to get ready for it for a Monday night game. So it works out well. That's a putting it on Monday night was a good advantage for the Chargers more than the Raiders.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I'm saying. The Raiders could easily just said, you know what, screw that. We still want the Chargers scheduled in our original spot that we were supposed to play them at home later in the season. We're not moving anything. And you guys would have had the Bears as your home opener or the Titans or one of those teams. And then the Chargers, we don't have the 49ers on our schedule. We don't have the Rams on our schedule. The closest is like Dallas, or maybe somehow they work the Cardinals game up or something like that.
See, but I'm
Miami or Jacksonville might have been the Chargers' week 2 opponent on Sunday after Brazil.
I call bullshit on that story though a little bit, because you're going to tell me that one game affected the whole season. Like, don't they make like 10 schedules and then each go through each one of them?
Yeah, he could be just doing it for the show, Mike, West or North or East or South.
Mike directional. There's it's got to be extremely complicated to make all this stuff work out, because there is events and things happening in a lot of these stadiums throughout the year. So it doesn't really matter how it got there. It just matters that like the Raiders seem to take the short end of the stick on a lot of the scheduling conflicts for this one. Like, they really, if you go through their schedule, it's like, well, they got some weeks where you could see them putting together some wins, but then you look at the rest component to it, the flight, the travel concerns, and it's like, oh, this is going to be really tough for a team that is building in Pete Carroll's image for this.
On top of all the advantages for the Chargers that it builds, Joe, we have 3 straight AFC West opponents to open the year now. So I guess the Chargers could start really strong or start really weak. Either way, you look at it. But
if you jump
from
out
my
3-0,
outlook, the Chargers have an opportunity to be 3-0 against the division to start the year. And as a player, as a coach, as a team, you got to be excited and hungry for that.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to feel amazing about where you stand in the division and playoff chances and all of those things. But again, starting off at the beginning of the year, it's like you really have to hit the ground running. You need to come out of training camp fully healthy and be able to have an identity. If this would have been year 1 of Harbaugh, I would have felt a lot differently than I do in year 2, where there's going to be more of a plan. There's going to be more continuity, hopefully. And these games are always going to be a fight, and they're always going to be crazy. It's not like, 3-0. You got to find a way to be at least 2-1 by the end of this, and hopefully that at least that the one of those 2 wins is against the Chiefs. You got to beat the Chiefs in week 1, no matter what happens in those other 2 games. One of those wins has to be against the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think especially
if you're 3-0, you're feeling top of the world. You're like, yeah, we're going all the way. If you're 0-3, you're like, the season's done.
Yeah.
If you're, I would say 2-1, you're still feeling good, and 1-2, you're like,
well, if the loss to the Raiders, then we're still probably feeling like the season's over. But
well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, your season could start off on a high and continue on that high, or it could just drop you right away. Like, that's the tough thing. Like, I hate divisional games week 1. I don't think they should put any divisional games week 1. And divisional games week 1 and divisional games on Thursday night, I think they should be nowhere in the NFL schedule. That's just me personally.
It's crazy because if any team has advantages week 1, it's the Chiefs, man, that are just basically keep running out the same thing that's unstoppable over and over and over again at the AFC. That's why I hope that Brazil game we can pull off, Tony, also, because then we got the KC game later in the year. It's not like we pulled their home game out for that Brazil game. They're replacing the LA game with the Brazil game. So we got to get this first game as if it's a home game. This is our LA versus Chiefs game.
Yeah, so also too, for like the 3rd time in 5 years, we play the Chiefs in Arrowhead on short rest. Like, it's kind of becoming a scheduling tradition for them to get the extra rest advantage with the travel. So long way to go before any of this stuff kicks off, but you do think about the importance of what it is to start off not only the season strong, but then the division strong. So it's like a double whammy in that situation. I don't think that 0-3 is the same killer that it was years before. Like, we've seen teams like the Bengals and whatever, like, climb out of some of these early season woes. But the 3 division games kind of make it to where you're probably not winning the division unless you run the table.
Yeah, you have to go for the wild card now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you already.
Yeah, you know, SoFi Stadium, week 2, Chris Brown going to be laying those hits harder than the Chargers, anyways.
Yeah, because the Chargers aren't a hard hitting team, not at all.
Joe's not.
What we do.
Joe doesn't even.
Actually, Joe, I have one more question.
Jokes right now.
I have one more question before we start talking about Jeanty's controversial running back stance or not. One more question for you. Who do you got week 1, Chargers or Chiefs? Obviously, we're both going to take the Chargers. So,
I don't know. It's a tough one. I want to see how Hampton does in camp, and then I think if your running game's looking good, I think that the Chargers might be able to pull that one off.
Bill Flames, I went Mike on the mic. With something brand new, one time for your mind. He gave you fair warning. Now it's time to smack him in the mouth with that raw sports talk from the town. Sweet chin music to your favorite sportscaster.